you, man. Good morning.
Good morning.
Come on, guys. It's Saturday morning.
Saturday.
Let's get excited about being here because we're here for our kids, right? Good morning. Good morning. Yeah, something like that. All right. So my name's Bob Stokes, and I am not your typical keynote kind of guy. I have brought with me Dr. Williams, who is my Jiminy Cricket, and some of you may not be old enough to know what that is. She's my conscience, so she's going to keep me in line. We do a lot of this tag team together across the country, and so we'll bounce back and forth. These are the slides from which I will deviate. I think they will be available to you eventually, but certainly welcome. I love the concept of this family engagement conference. This is a pretty unique thing. You guys get to come together and actually put that mission statement or that slogan from the district to work. Belong, grow, succeed. I love that. So you guys are really lucky to have this opportunity. So welcome. As you already heard, that's what I've done in my life. I think it's important for educators and people that speak about education, especially as it translates into careers, that they've actually done other things besides education. Dr. Williams?
Yes, all of what Bob said. I'd like to invite you, of course, like he said, you've heard a little bit about our educational career, but we also stand here today as parents in the same place that you're in today and are still in some spaces, navigating future for our children. And so the additional thing I'd like to share with you is that in the midst of all of those educational career and jobs and pieces that you heard about Bob and myself, we were also navigating family and trying to make sure that our children were accessing the same opportunities we were helping other people's children access. And so you'll hear a little bit about that this morning, but also in our breakout sessions. But I want to invite you even now as you sit as a parent that wants your child to be successful, wants your child to be happy, and there is no secret. Financially independent is the goal.
Amen, sis.
Come on now, it's Saturday. She already told you. It's not a secret though. We do want our children to be able to be financially independent so that they can have the successful and happy life. Because the truth of the matter is, poverty does not bring happiness. And the inability to navigate the needs that you have and some of the wants that you desire makes for success in a well-rounded life situation and the career that you're in that you can navigate as you will continue to see as we go throughout the presentation. So we invite you to sit in the seat as parent, but also to put your navigation hat on, because twists and turns in your life will also happen in students' lives, and we want to empower them to be able to stay successful, stay happy, and to be able to be financially independent in the world that we live in today.
How true, how true. So what is SREB? SREB stands for the Southern Regional Education Board. And what that is an organization that was created back in the 1940s after World War II, when all the troops were coming home. There had been a report from the New York Times, I believe, that said that the economic vitality of the country is being hindered by the education differences in the South. And so 16 governors of the southern states came together and said, Maryland being included in that group, said, let's put together a board to improve educational opportunities in the South. First of all, they started with post-secondary, so colleges. But then eventually it got into the high school world. And then recently we've dipped down into middle school and elementary school. And so what we do is we analyze and publish data, we conduct surveys, we inform state legislative boards and education committees on things that are going on out in the country. We convene and engage. We do several conferences for different stakeholders across the country. And then finally, we support action, which is kind of what we're doing today. You guys are acting on how do you improve opportunities for your students. We're here to help with that. This is our mission statement. One of the things that I like to do with group is talk about our mission statement. And this is broad 30,000-foot view about trying to improve the economic vitality of our member states, correct? We're going to drill down to improving the economic vitality of you and your family, okay? Your students, having them be financially independent. So the key points for today, here's what we're going to talk about a little bit, and then we'll dive deeper into it in our breakout session. But we're going to talk about the job market shifts. Things are changing, if you hadn't noticed, okay? We're going to talk about the skills that are going to be essential for jobs in 2035. That seems like a long time from now, right? Kids sitting next to you right now are going to be graduating and entering the workforce at that time. And how important it is for students to learn new things and become flexible. It's very important, especially with the generation. We'll talk about that.
And Bob, I'd like to commend each of you for also being here this morning to learn more new things and to be flexible yourself. Because family involvement, while we're working on behalf of our students and positioning them to access workforce as they grow and develop, it also brings additional resources into the home. Many of you may be in a career, and while you are helping your student navigate, you may be finding ways that can help improve the economic vitality for you as an individual and for other members of your family. So again, the invitation is here for you to open up your mind. I know you're here for your student, but you're included, okay? You're included.
Absolutely. One of our former bosses, Senior Vice President, Dr. Gene Bottoms, he's as old as my father, and I'm no spring chicken. But he would get up and do keynote addresses, and he would have slides that look like this, just a lot of words. And so in our little world, we talk about, oh, that looks like a Dr. Bottoms slide. So I apologize for the number of words on this slide, but I do want to show you that Maryland's blueprint for the future, or blueprint for Maryland's future, let me get the words correct, is one of those things that Maryland has done that's affecting education across the state. It is one of the premier improvement devices across our member states. I'm convinced that a lot of the work that's going on in the blueprint is going to improve education across your states, certainly going to improve the opportunities for your students. These are some of those ways that happens, especially when you're talking about career counseling. And career counseling, they're talking about individualized career counseling, not just, well, everybody's going to be a doctor, so we're going to talk about being a doctor today. Okay, they're talking about fine-tuning it to what your student is interested in and has an aptitude for. Collaboration, that doesn't really necessarily work for you guys, tailored to the needs of the local workforce. We've got partners where those two items do come into play. But then counseling to help each student choose one or more post-college and career readiness pathways. There's a lot of educationese that you have to sift through when you talk to educators. So if you're not familiar with the educationese, post-secondary or post-college and career readiness is talking about what is our final product, okay?
Translation for those that don't know what educationese is. It's the acronyms that oftentimes you hear, right? At the beginning, we hear CTE. You hear acronyms for post-secondary opportunities, but you may hear it named as something else. At the end of the day, what we're talking about is jobs that turn into careers, careers that have opportunities for students to move and advance into higher areas of that same career field or adjacent career fields. You heard even in our bios, we're in the education field, but over the past 24 years, I've had different roles within the field of education. Mm-hmm. And I now am working for a nonprofit organization that travels and does the same work in the same field, but in a different way. So as we're talking, and even in the breakout sessions, with any sessions that you're in today, if you hear someone say an educationese word that you're like, what does that mean? Stop them and ask them, because it's important to know what we're talking about so that we're on the same page and that we can continue the dialogue and conversation around where we're going.
Please do that. I'll be honest with you, we're not used to presenting in such a nice auditorium. We're used to presenting to a bunch of teachers in a classroom, and they're going to talk back to you. Educators in the room, you know that, right? When we talk about careers, and we talked about how the job market is shifting, career means something different now. And so these are some pieces of research that we found. When you talk about Generation Z, those are the kids that we've got sitting next to us, right? Or the kids that we represent by being here. They've replaced baby boomers as being a large part of the workforce, okay? Millennials, that's the largest generation in the workforce right now, making up 35%. These are some of the things that are important to them. Myself, I'm a Generation X person. I like being loyal and having a strong work ethic. I think that's very appropriate. And then the baby boomers, like our parents, my parents, A lot of them are retired out now. So the shift is happening from things that, as you grew up, you knew as normal. Things are happening much differently now. These are some of the things that are happening different. So you're looking at job tenure. A lot of places are not seeing, like my grandfather was in one career with one organization his entire life. You know, the old retire at 30 years, get the gold watch kind of thing, right? My dad had 2 careers with 3 different jobs. I've had several different jobs, one major career in education. My kids, they're not going to be like that. They're going to bounce around. So we have to teach them the skills that they need that are transferable from one career to another. We'll talk about those skills in a bit. Pay raises are important. I think that's, true for everybody. Job security, that was important back then, not so much now, okay? Health insurance is important, social media. How many of us have our kids on social media? It's out there. It's something that we need to develop that skill to use correctly. Changing jobs, again, it's much more common for younger people to change jobs. That's it in a pretty infographic. In our breakout, we'll focus in on the Generation Z. We'll talk about those kids just a little bit more.
And Bob, also, with a lot of the things that are changing in careers, the job tenure, the salaries, the health insurance, use of social media, a lot of the things that Bob just mentioned, they're still very important, but helping our students look at why they're important and what to look for when they're seeking out careers is also just as important. If you think about it, when you're sitting, at home, you're watching a television show together, your student comes home, you know that as a parent, you're also looking at insurance and salary and making all the ends meet. But our students don't necessarily live in that life with us, because most of us as parents, we try to shield our kids from some of those things, but they're entering into those spaces where their first job may or may not have benefits. They're entering the spaces where they may or may not have to negotiate a salary. Do they know what negotiating a salary looks like? Do they know how to take that salary and apply it to the interest rates of today and the rising inflation of cost of living? Many times our students, when they're thinking jobs and careers, it's what's around them. Part of navigating the workforce and navigating the skills that they will need include helping kids see all of the things that are involved with the world of work and the successful, happy, and financially independent life that we're setting them up for. Translating all of this to kids can be really challenging, not just for the educators, but for parents at home. Why? Because kids like to have fun. I have 3 daughters, 2 in college, 1 that's a senior in high school. And early, as an educator, elementary school, what do you want to be when you grow up? I want to be a firefighter. Well, why? Because I think their uniform's cool. Okay, do you know what firefighters do? Duh, Mom, they put out fires. I know, but do you really know what they do? Well, no, but kids want to have fun. So any opportunity to help a child that may want to be a fighter engage with that particular career so that they can see it, but in a fun way that's applicable to them as students, can turn on career exploration even in the baby stage for kids. Kids don't really know what they don't know. And as adults, because we've lived a lot, we've lived a little and we've lived a lot. We ask them questions about things that they haven't lived yet. So helping them know the things and anticipate things that they don't know, even if they put in a little resistance. My senior daughter, it might be good if you take your ACT one more time, because I know today you know what you want to do when you graduate, but in 2 years after graduation, life might change. Well, I don't see the point. Of course you don't, because you haven't lived past that point yet. So part of our job is to help kids know what they don't know and anticipate what they might encounter, and using our experiences to help them anticipate. But also they depend on us. They depend on us as parents, as teachers, as community members, as adults that care about their future success to help them connect the dots. And oftentimes we're doing amazing things in our elementary schools, we're doing amazing things in our middle schools, amazing things in our high schools, and in our post-secondary education resources and sources. But students developmentally don't naturally take the information from elementary to middle school to high school to post-secondary, and run the through line. We have to help them do that. Remember when you were in elementary school and you wanted to be a firefighter and we went to that one experience and you got to see it? Great. Now that you are a junior in high school, do you still want to be a firefighter because there's more information? Student goes, you know what? Yeah, I don't really want to do that. I don't like water. I don't like heat. I don't like fires. Hello? It happens, but they don't necessarily connect the dots. It's our job to help them do it in a fun way, to help them anticipate what they don't know, and to make the links for them, because it doesn't come naturally.
One of my favorite ways to help students connect those dots is this graphic right here. And I've used this with my own children. You know, we talk about career counseling, and everybody might, in their mind, have this picture of the school counselor bringing their kid in. You know, what do you want to be when you grow up, giving the survey or whatever. Everybody in this room is a career counselor in one form or another, okay? I was a career counselor for my kids. Dr. Williams was a career counselor for her kids. I'll tell you a story about mine here in a minute, but you need to ask these questions. What are some things that you love to do? Okay? What do you really enjoy doing? And then you ask, are you good at it? Okay? It's one thing to be interested in something, but you're not really good at it. And this is where I insert the John story. So my son, 5th grade, John, what do you want to be when you grow up? This was several years ago. He says, I want to be an NBA star like LeBron. All right, very good. Has anybody else got any future NFL, NBA stars? Yeah. All right, so here's how you answer that question. John, you're going to grow into this body. Short, heavy. They got no place for that in the NBA, I promise you, okay? All right, y'all with me? So what do? We go and we start watching basketball games. John, I want you to sit here and I want you to look around the arena. I want you to think about how many people are working right now to put LeBron on the floor. Oh, you mean I can get a job around this stuff? I love this stuff. All right, you can be the team doctor, you can be the team marketer, you can be the team business owner, whatever. Lots of things go on. Now, he's at University of Memphis in a sports management program. That's how you do that. You get them to think about where they fit into, you love it, you're great at it. That bottom piece, you want to make sure they're getting paid for it, right? Again, with that financial independence, that's not a secret.
And the fun thing about that too, in helping students know what they don't know, today's students think they go straight to the CEO spot entry level.
Amen.
I'm going to make $250,000 the very first time, and they are going to hire me because I'm good.
So I get to add to the story now. And Erin's not heard this. So one of his assignments in college is you go be an intern, right? And so he's interning with the Knoxville Ice Bears. It's like a minor league hockey team, right? One of his tasks a couple of weeks ago was they've got a Swaggerty sausage as the sponsor. Okay, I'm not advertising for Swaggerty sausage. Don't even know if you get it up here. So he had to put on a hot dog costume and get out on the ice and slide around. So
nice.
You don't become the CEO first.
Nice.
Sometimes you have to wear the hot dog suit.
Sometimes you have to wear the hot dog suit.
And then finally you get to that, does the world need it? Because a lot of our kids, it's not enough just to make some money, right? They've got to feel that spiritual fulfillment, and that's where that last part comes in. Find out what it is that they want to do that the world needs. And when you find it all in the middle, that's the sweet spot, right? Sometimes you have to go through just getting a job and having a job, and that was it. If you saw on my bio, there was a time that I was a FedEx courier during my undergraduate work. It was a good job. It was a great job. I enjoyed it. But was I changing anybody's life? I mean, unless I was delivering a lottery check, that was not really changing anybody's life. So I got into education. Another one of my favorite things to do. Normally I sing to the crowd. How many of you were old enough to remember Sesame Street? See, I'm not that old.
I'm so proud. Thank you for helping Bob today, because I was like, Bob, come on, Bob, not this slide. He's like, yes, I have to.
So When we talk about the careers that are out there, everybody knows about the fireman and the policeman and the teacher and the nurse. But who are the people in the neighborhood? Driving from the hotel over here this morning, you drive by this huge Northrop Grumman research facility. There's a lot of work that goes on behind those locked gates, isn't there? Some of you may work there. What does that look like? What does that mean? What skills do I have to have? Would I like doing that? You've got kids in your families that might work there someday. You never know. Could be worse. Should I sing? Y'all know the song, don't you? Y'all gonna have to sing it with me. Who are the people in your neighborhood? In your neighborhood? In your neighborhood? Who are the people in your neighborhood? They're the people that you meet each day. Now, you got to go sing that to your kids if they're not here, right? Deal? Y'all know the tune. All right.
And a wonderful way to help our students engage with the people in our neighborhood is that when they see them, that we empower them to ask them questions.
Yes.
Because they do. They know the fireman, they know the policeman, they know the doctor, the pediatrician. But while you're sitting there in the waiting room, you know your child has said, oh, I'm gonna be a doctor one day. Well, the next time you go to your doctor's appointment, okay, there's an opportunity. You said you want to be a doctor, ask the doctor some questions. I don't want to ask the doctor questions because I don't like to talk to people. I don't know if you guys have that kid. Like, went through the McDonald's drive-thru one day, the Sprite was out, it tastes like carbonation. I'm like, daughter, go inside it. I don't want to talk to them. But you paid for your Sprite, it doesn't taste good. Get another one. I don't want to talk to them. It's okay, fine, I'll just drink some water. Successful, happy, financially independent. You're gonna have to talk to people. And so listening for our kids, when you're with the people in the neighborhood, encourage the kids to be brave enough to ask a question. What did it take for you to become a doctor? How long did you have to go to school? What's your favorite part of being a doctor? What don't you like about being a doctor? Because in those opportunities, kids are getting more information about what they don't know because they do know that doctors are important people in the neighborhood. We often have to push our kids to engage to get the more information that they need to find the purpose in the chart that Bob showed. Because we know what we love, but we don't really know all the information because we only know it from our vantage point. So a very easy way, as you're in the grocery store, as you're in the doctor's office, as you are dropping something off at the mailbox, as you are going and opening the door to get up your DoorDash, even though the person ran off, like, find a question to ask the students to engage them in career conversations with just the people in the neighborhood.
So now that we've established you guys understand some of my references, we're going to talk about the game of life. So in the game of life, this little spot right here, y'all remember that spot? It's where you start, right? And you have to make a choice. You go down one path or you go down the other path. Y'all remember what those paths were? One was college. The other one was go get a job, okay? And instantly they said, oh, well, if you go to college, you get a higher pay rate, right? We're going to see in just a second that may or may not necessarily be true. That either or mentality is over, okay? We need to think about, again, with the education ease, if you will, secondary education is like middle school, high school, right? High school especially. Post-secondary education is, everybody thinks college, like a 4-year institution like University of Maryland. That's not all it is, okay? It could be Baltimore Community College. It could be an apprenticeship with one of the unions. It could be a certificate program at one of the technical centers. Any education after high school is post-secondary education. What you're looking for in that education is how does it support what I want to be? What credential, what skill, what certification am I going to come away with that nobody can take away from me? Am I going to have to help me be successful and financially independent?
And oftentimes we also forget about the on-the-job training that you also receive in some careers that may not require the 2-year, the 4-year, the apprenticeship, or you get the certification while you're working. And sometimes our kids, because in society that pick a path is still very prevalent. You either go to work or you go to college. But guess what's happening to our kids that go to college without the career conversation? They go to college and they graduate college and they go, what do I do now? You go to work. Work. I thought I was to go to school. Again, for one more degree, to get the high-paying job. But you have to go to work. And so sometimes our students are picking college because it's the next step that we've taught them, but they're not actively engaged in the why go to college. Am I going to this four-year university because it's going to position me for the higher career and I'm exploring the job opportunities while I'm studying? Or am I only going because it's what I'm supposed to do, but I still don't know what I want to do as far as it relates to work? So our job is to blend the college and career conversation and really push it not only to college, but just to additional education that you need to do your job well and to be paid well.
That's a huge thing to think about, making sure that we do that exploration early and often before they start paying for classes or burning scholarship money or what have you in a four-year institution. You don't want to have to pay for exploration. I'll be honest with you, and Erin and I are fairly transparent. We like to tell stories about our kids. If you get tired of that, just throw something at us. Come on, guys.
It's Saturday.
So my daughter is a freshman at one of the University of Tennessee schools, and she's wanting to go into the nursing program. Now, she didn't get a chance to do a nursing program through the career and technical education classes in high school, which would have had like internship opportunities where she goes and gets to see what the real world looks like. This is going to be one upset parent if she gets into her sophomore year of college and she's wasted a bunch of time and money and realizes she doesn't like the sight of blood. I don't think that's going to happen, but are you with me? That's a conceivable, outcome. So think about how we can get that experience in their secondary career in high school where it's free, right? So we did a tour one time in the state of Missouri, I believe, had some education folks with us, and we went to one of those career and technical education buildings that all the high schools sent their kids to, and they had the health occupations program, they had an auto tech program, a collision repair program, so all these cool programs. And so we're walking through them, and the lady comes out and she's upset. And I'm like, what's wrong? She's like, my daughter is a junior at University of Missouri and she's struggling in pre-med right now. She could have had in high school a medical terminology class or some of these other classes that would have helped her now, but the counselors or for whatever reason she was not allowed to go to those classes. She had to take all the AP/IB pre-college work. We're trying to mesh those two worlds together, making sure that we're not making a hard decision one way or the other, college or career. It's college and career, okay? Another story, again, if you get tired of stories, throw something at me. My brother, and he's quite a bit younger than I am, so back at the turn of the century, he gets out of high school, and gosh, the turn of the century, and that was a while ago. Gets out of high school, had gone through one of those career and technical education programs in business, okay, business and finance. They actually had a bank in the school where kids could come and deposit money. That's back when you used real money, kids, and you didn't just have a little plastic card. So he was, the manager of this little school branch. So he gets out of school, realizes he doesn't want to go to college and mess around. He goes to work, finds a job at this bank that had sponsored that. So he starts out at the bottom, rolling quarters and, taking the change out and all that stuff, moves up to like the repo department, moves up to a branch, moves up to a management position. Right now, he is the president of that bank. He did not pay for one dime of college credit. The bank paid for it for him. He has the equivalent of a master's degree in the banking world. I just got finished paying student loans last year, and I'm 54 years old, okay? So think about that when you're thinking about making sure that, my kid's not going to college. Well, your kid might have an opportunity to go to college. Your kid might go through and be a welder. And the people at the job site say, man, you're a great welder, but you also have leadership skills. Why don't you go back and get a business degree so that you can run this company? Well, I didn't know I could run a company. Well, you can now. So you're going to college. Do they have the skills to do that? So that's when I start asking schools, what's our finished product? Is our finished product just caps and gowns? I used to get tickled. I had a friend that would say, yeah, when my kid gets 18, I'm breaking his plate. Out of the house, financial independence, he's gone, right? I mean, he was talking, tongue in cheek. But if we're just out for that cap and gown, we're sending these kids off a bridge to nowhere, okay? We have to make sure that we're thinking about our success comes at age 25. Success doesn't come at 17 or 18. What does that success look like for your child at 25 years old? And success would be one of those hot careers, okay? You're looking for good wages. You're looking for high demand, okay? The community needs this work. And there is some high skill involved, right? So they have to be prepared for those skills. All right, we're going to watch a quick video. I think it's 5-6 minutes. This is Dr. Kevin Fleming. He did a keynote for SREB's national conference a few years back. Actually, we were in Baltimore when that happened. Mm-hmm. And he does a lot of work on the future economy and what success looks like. And we're going to talk about some of the skills that students are going to need then, okay? If you will, go ahead and roll that clip.
Today we are going to talk about preparing for life after high school, getting a job, finding a career, and earning a living. The question, of course, is what does success really look like? The American workforce has changed a lot recently. Occupations in every industry now require a combination of both academic knowledge and technical skills. One without the other is no longer enough. Having both makes you more employable. Today, we want all high school students to graduate ready for both college and careers. In the next few minutes, you'll understand how to match who you are with who you want to be, and ultimately, how to get there. As you prepare for your future, you'll need to develop skills in 4 specific areas to achieve your dreams. Every day in school, you are gaining academic skills and knowledge. The classes you are taking matter in the world of work. But it's not just about getting good grades. Challenge yourself to learn how to apply the knowledge you are taught. Apply theories and concepts to real-world problems. This will help you be more competitive upon graduation, and you'll have additional options. You can also earn college credit now while still in high school through articulation, dual enrollment, or concurrent enrollment. So take your classes seriously and become the strongest reader, writer, and thinker you can be. Adults are expected to know other things like life skills. These are about everyday, real-world survival. They include things like how to bounce back after a bad experience, how to manage money and create a family budget, and how to remain healthy through good nutrition. Life skills will give you a strong foundation for your future. Local employers also expect certain things of people they hire. These are called employability skills. In fact, people who get the best jobs and keep them have this nailed. Employers expect you to have these skills from your very first day on the job. Things teachers often ask you to do, like meeting deadlines, working in teams, and organizing projects. These are employability skills. Learning how to manage your time, creatively solve problems, and communicate appropriately will help you prepare for the world of work. Then, there are technical skills. These can be very industry specific. They include the ability to apply what you have learned to working a computer, running a machine, or monitoring a patient's heart rate. High school students that are tech savvy with skills in areas of interest to them will find jobs, keep them, and get promoted more quickly. Find ways now to earn certificates and industry credentials in technical fields on your way to graduation. Each of these 4 areas matter to adults, including college professors and employers. Local employers will want to know what you can do and what you can do well, not just what diploma hangs on your wall. In fact, technical skills are part of the new currency in today's world. So how do you position yourself for high-wage, in-demand jobs? First, you need to understand the difference between average wages versus what you can project to earn. Let's say you were considering a career as either an electrician or a business manager. You would find that the average annual income for electricians is $51,000, only about half of the $105,000 average wage for management occupations. So at first glance, it looks as if getting a bachelor's degree in business is a no-brainer. But adding skills and ability into the picture adds a whole new dynamic. What if you have the potential to become an excellent electrician, but lack the skills and ability to be an excellent manager? then you should be looking at projected incomes towards the bottom of the pay scale for managers and towards the top for electricians. You would then discover that electricians near the top of the pay scale make around $86,000, far higher than the income of a manager near the bottom of the pay scale at $52,000. Now, this is just one example, but the concept is true throughout all industries. The claim that you will make more money with an increased amount of education is not necessarily inaccurate, it's just incomplete. That advice is based on just the averages, but no one is perfectly average. Everyone has unique skills, talents, and interests. Truth is, the income for the top people in a wide variety of technical jobs is higher than the average income for many occupations that require a bachelor's degree. So you're probably wondering what you need to do to get started. Here are 4 steps to position yourself for a successful career at the top of the pay scale. First, learn about yourself and your talents. You must take a career assessment to really get to know your personality strengths and your interests. Ask yourself, what do I love to do? As well as, what am I good at doing? These are very different questions. Identifying your core talents and skills will help you select some careers that align with your strengths. Knowing yourself is the first strategy to really figuring out what you will be successful at and enjoy doing. Second, explore all of your possible career options. Today, there are over 800 different jobs organized into 16 industry clusters. That's a long list of possible careers. Research the jobs you are interested in and find out the education, experience, and cost required. There is a lot of information online, and we also encourage you to talk with someone already in that field to learn more. It is not too soon to find out as much as you can. Identifying those careers that align with your personality and interests will help you make better decisions about your first career. After researching all the possibilities, the third step is to then set a tentative career goal based on your interests and abilities. And be sure to consider the range of wages in your local area in alignment with what you learned about yourself. This career doesn't have to be what you want to do for the rest of your life. Just set a goal of what you want to do first. The fourth step is to create a 10-year plan. This plan should include your tentative career goal, the education and training you'll need, and the realistic steps you plan to take to get there. Having such a plan will help you when you pursue an internship, select a college major, and seek employment. Also, be sure to make both a plan A and a plan B. Setbacks are inevitable, but don't worry, it's how you respond to these challenges that matter. We suggest developing strong coping skills and learning how to work well in teams. It is important to be able to pivot quickly and persevere down an alternative path towards your goal when obstacles arise. The academic knowledge, career awareness, and technical skills you gain during high school will serve you well as you pursue your next steps in life. And that's how you position yourself for a successful career. Focus on acquiring academic skills and knowledge, life skills, employability skills, and technical skills while you work through these 4 steps. Just always be true to who you are, strive to fulfill your full potential, and bring passion to whatever you do.
All right, when you get your copy of these slides, or maybe you took a picture of that link will take you right to that video if you want to watch it again. It took me a few times to watch it and really take it all in. But when we talk about the skills that we need, I think that pretty well sums it up. For me, when I boil down the skills that are essential for the future, number 1 is learning how to learn. Is anybody in the room on plan B in their career plans? Or is everybody in this room actually doing what they set out to do when they were a kid? So we got a lot of plan Bs, right?
Plan F.
I'm a plan B, believe it or not. I'm a plan
R.
B. I was going to be an automotive engineer, okay? Long story, and we might get into that in the breakout session of why that didn't happen, but I love what I'm doing. The second piece is communication. And whether that is communication written or spoken, It's also the receiving of communication. How well do you listen? My wife says not very well. I'm inclined to believe her. Or reading. So communication is 4 things: reading, speaking, writing, and listening. Okay? Make sure that we are helping with those skills in all 4 areas. And between those 2, the sky's the limit. And I think that's one of the things that we want to make sure that we have for our kids. Financial independence, success in the future. What was that slogan again for Anne Arundel County? Belong, grow, succeed. Okay? Let's focus on how we get to the succeed part today. Thank you very much for having us.
We appreciate you so much. And for those during the second session, if you'd like to come and communicate about a lot of the things that we talked about and dig even deeper about the job opportunities in Anne Arundel County for our kids, some more specifics, we would love to have a conversation with you at that time. Thank you so much.
If you come back second, stay up here in the front because we're going to be interactive, okay?
Thank you. Would you like one of those?